pentagrams on walls.
It just keeps getting creepier.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're examining 10 disturbing messages left by killers.
If you do not print this cipher by the afternoon of Fry, 1st of August 69, I will go on a kill rampage Fry night.
For this list, we're looking at the most shocking bits of communication ever conducted by killers. Which of these do you find the most disturbing? Let us know in the comments below. The Manson Family.
It has been said the decade of love came to a sudden violent end in August 1969, shattered by the Manson family murders.
This cult is well known not only for their killings, but also for leaving behind various messages at the crime scenes. On July 27, 1969, family member Bobby Beausoleil killed a man named Gary Hinman and wrote the words "political piggy" on the wall. Susan Atkins later referenced this message during the infamous Tate killings, writing "pig" on the front door.
A macabre message that shocked and confused the city.
Following the Tate home invasion, married couple Lino and Rosemary LaBianca were killed. Perpetrator Patricia Krenwinkel copied the prior two messages and wrote various words around the house, including "rise," "death to pigs," and perhaps most famously, "helter skelter," misspelled as H-E-A-L-T-E-R, Skelter. This last one would later become the title for Vincent Bugliosi's enormously popular and influential book about the case.
Manson and his followers were convicted and sentenced to die, but when California's death penalty was ruled unconstitutional in 1972, their punishments were changed to life in prison.
Micah Xavier Johnson. This Afghan war veteran had grown disillusioned with the police's treatment of black individuals, leading to a massive shooting.
Now they say that he'd been scribbling in those journals you mentioned, that he had practiced bomb detonation and doing tactical drills in his backyard, all in order to become what they call a killing machine.
On July 7, 2016, Johnson shot and killed 5 Dallas police officers. He also injured a further 9 officers and 2 civilians.
Investigators are working to stitch together hundreds of hours of police body cam and dash cam video in a crime scene that still spans over a dozen city blocks.
Shortly before he was killed, an injured Johnson wrote a message. Dallas Police Chief David Brown told the media that Johnson wrote the letters RB on a wall, but that no one understood its meaning.
On the way up the staircase, he scrolled the letters RB.
Police are still investigating its meaning.
Johnson also left behind some, quote, rambling messages in his journal. A leading theory posits that Johnson was trying to reference the Pan-African flag by writing RBG, standing for red, black, green. David Kalick. 4chan has developed quite a negative reputation, as disturbing content is regularly uploaded to the site. In November 2014, an anonymous user posted photos of a dead woman to its infamous B board, along with some horrifying proclamations like, quote, "she fought so damn hard."
He goes on to say he was drunk and she made him mad.
He also explained that her son would find her after coming home from school. This kind of provocative stuff is often seen on 4chan, usually conducted by trolls just trying to get a rise out of people. But in this case, it was 100% real. Those were real photos, and a man named David Kalick, the same man who posted to 4chan, was later arrested in connection with the woman's death. She was 30-year-old Amber Lynn Copeland.
And in his confession note, Kalick also said, quote, "running from the cops was so much fun." Then he signed his initials DK.
Mary Bell. This young girl was just 10 years old when she took the life of a boy named Martin Brown.
Oh, she was wicked. She was. I think there's no question about it.
Following Brown's death, Bell and her accomplice, Norma Bell, no relation, broke into a nursery and left behind various notes. These were misspelled, but their messages and crude tone remain clear. 2 notes claimed responsibility for the death of Brown. A third served as a warning, and a fourth cryptically read, quote, "I murder so that I may come back."
The general tenor of these notes was to tease and provoke the police because the police weren't making any progress.
Following that incident, Mary maliciously called Brown's mother and told her that, quote, she wanted to see him in his coffin. 2 months later, now aged 11, Bell took the life of her second and final victim, Brian Howe.
She was deeply embedded in a sort of petty crime environment, an environment in which violence against each other was something that was almost acceptable and the norm.
Jack the Ripper. Few serial killers are as notorious as Jack the Ripper. We don't know much about Jack. Not his identity, not his true number of victims, and not the span of his crimes. He allegedly corresponded with the police, but we don't even know if that's legitimate either.
Modern commentators have suggested it came from the pen of a journalist. But what makes this letter significant and important is it's the one that gave us that name.
Yours truly, Jack the Ripper.
Many of his supposed letters are believed to be hoaxes, minus a few exceptions. The From Hell letter is the most intriguing. Sent to the head of the Whitechapel Vigilance Committee, George Lusk, it was mailed alongside half a human kidney.
I may send you the bloody knife that took it out if only you wait a while longer. Signed, catch me when you can, Mr. Lusk.
The letter itself taunted Lusk, and the author made an explicit reference to cannibalism. The authenticity of the letter has long stirred debate, but many experts believe it to be genuine. Richard Ramirez.
Why did you kill those people?
No comments. No comments. I cannot answer that at this time.
Some serial killers have calling cards, and Richard Ramirez had the satanic pentagram. Between 1984 and 85, Ramirez terrorized California with killings and home invasions and became known as the Night Stalker.
What was Richard's motive?
To kill.
That's it?
To kill. It's as simple as that.
On May 29, 1985, Ramirez brutally attacked Mabel Bell and Florence Lang in their Monrovia home. Using lipstick, he left behind various pentagrams on the walls. He did the same thing in San Francisco at the home of Peter and Barbara Pan. Alongside the pentagram, the Pan house message also included the phrase Jack the Knife. Following his arrest, Ramirez infamously flashed the pentagram in court as he had drawn it on his hand.
As far as Satan is concerned, I believe in a malevolent being. His description eludes me, but I have felt powers that are evil.
The Son of Sam. In the mid to late 70s, New York City was left horrified by serial killer David Berkowitz.
Serial killer walked the streets of New York City for more than a year, terrorizing everyone, especially women, until this man was captured, putting an end to it all, but leaving many with the question, why?
Known widely as the Son of Sam, Berkowitz shot many people, killed 6, and became the target of the city's largest manhunt.
The police have a composite sketch of their suspect compiled from witnesses' descriptions. But no one in the city of 8 million knows who is next.
Known originally as the .44 caliber killer, Berkowitz adopted his now famous name following the Son of Sam letter. This was a rambling piece of text left at a crime scene, in which Berkowitz teases the police and claims that he's, quote, prowling the streets looking for fair game. 1 month later, Berkowitz sent another letter to Daily News columnist Jimmy Breslin, saying ominous things like, quote, Sam's a thirsty lad. Portions of the letters were widely publicized and helped fuel intense interest in the Son of Sam case. The Lipstick Killer. The story of the Lipstick Killer is a controversial one.
The random savagery of the Lipstick Killer didn't jibe with a city known for its strong, safe neighborhoods.
On December 10, 1945, a woman named Frances Brown was found in her apartment, having been violently killed. A disturbing message was written on the wall in lipstick, leading to the moniker the Lipstick Killer. It read, quote, for heaven's sake, catch me before I kill more. I cannot control myself. This eerie note is often linked to a man named William Herons, who allegedly killed 3 people in the mid-40s. However, his controversial confession was the result of police torture, and his role in the Brown killing remains dubious.
It was then, with his own lawyers encouraging him, that he stopped fighting.
Whether it was Herons or not, the message found at the Brown crime scene remains horrifying.
He insisted he had confessed solely to save himself from the electric chair, not because he was guilty.
Albert Fish. Going by names like the Gray Man and the Brooklyn Vampire, Albert Fish killed at least 3 young people during the 1920s, although his true body count could be much higher.
Fish is regarded by many aficionados of crime as the scariest and most deranged of all American serial killers. Partly I think it was because he seemed so benign.
One of his victims was a girl named Grace Budd, whom Fish took from her home in Manhattan. 6 years after Budd's death, Fish sent a provocative letter to her mother. The The letter is incredibly graphic, detailing Bud's death and what Fish did with her body. Making this even worse is the fact that Bud's mother was unable to read, so her son and Bud's sister was forced to read the letter aloud. This letter proved to be Fish's downfall, as it directly led to his arrest, conviction, and eventual execution.
Fish was charged with the murder of Grace Budd. He also confessed to at least 100 other incidents.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. The Zodiac Killer. Like Jack the Ripper, much isn't known about the Zodiac Killer. As of 2022, he is still unidentified. And while he's been officially linked to 5 killings, his true number of victims could be in the dozens.
It's okay. This is all gonna be okay.
The Zodiac is an enduring figure in the cultural zeitgeist, and that is helped by the taunting messages he left for the police and media. Sent over a period of years, these letters served a multitude of functions.
Dear editor, this is the murderer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman and the girl on the 4th of July near the golf course in Vallejo.
Some were of a goading nature, some explained his supposed motivations, and some were boastful, like when he confessed to killing 37 people. He also made 4 ciphers, 2 of which remain unsolved, and ended his correspondences with the symbol of a crosshair.